This video is to go over lesson 12.3, preparing payroll records. We have two objectives. You need to be able to prepare a payroll register and you need to be able to prepare employee earnings records. A payroll register summarizes the earnings, deductions, and net pay of all employees for one pay period. This is an example of a payroll register. Some things that we're going to see up at the top here is the pay period date. So when it ended, December 15th. This over here is going to give the payment date. Then we're going to give some information about the employees. So we have the employee numbers, their names, their marital status, and their number of withholdings. Then we have a section of their earnings. So we see their regular, their overtime, and their total earnings. And then we're going to see their deductions broken up into their federal income tax, Social Security tax, Medicare tax, health insurance, and our retirement plan. This then gives the total deductions of all of those. We then see our net pay. Our net pay is going to take our total earnings minus our total deductions to get our net pay. And then down at the bottom, they are total approving and ruling. So they're adding up all of those columns. A way that we can double check too here is making sure that our total earnings here minus our total deductions here equals our total net pay. And then the last column over here is going to be our check numbers that we use to pay those employees. Employee earnings record is a business form used to record details of an employee's earnings and deductions. So this is an example of an employee's record, earnings record. So our payroll register, they just broke this down and they're just showing us this one. But remember, our payroll register shows all of our employees. And now what we're going to do is we are transferring this information onto the earnings record for that employee. So this is going to be specific for the employee. Now this is going to be for a quarter. So it lists up here at the top for quarter ended, and here we see December 31st. So this is the fourth quarter. This information is going to be about the employee. So we have their number, we have their name, their marital status, their withholdings. Here we see their rate of pay, their social security number, and then also their position. We're going to start with their beginning accumulated earnings. So this is going to come from the previous quarter. So this is showing what they've earned at this job so far this year. Then we see that we are adding every pay period. So here we'll see that this person gets paid bi-monthly, so twice a month, on the 15th and on the last day of the month. So here we see October's, November's, and here is December. So what we are filling in here is that December 15th. And then we're just taking this information from the payroll register and filling it in. We are going to update the accumulated earnings. That is not something that we are copying from up here. I would say every year I have students that get confused as to how to figure out this accumulated earnings. I think what I see is that students want to take this previous accumulated, this number here, that 27,195, and add to it that net pay. That is wrong. I would say the key word that we want to look at here is earnings. So we are looking at their accumulated earnings. That is not their net pay. So to figure that number out, we're going to take the previous accumulated earnings and we're going to go all the way over here to our total earnings column and we're going to add to it our total earnings. Then we get this number here, our updated accumulated earnings. To find the next one, again, we're going to take this accumulated earnings plus that current pay period's total earnings to get the new accumulated earnings. And then just like we did up at the payroll register, we are going to total and prove. So one way that we can double check is making sure that our total earnings here minus our total deductions equals our total net pay. Number one, what does the payroll register summarize? The payroll register summarizes the payroll for one pay period and shows the total earnings, payroll withholdings, and net pay for all employees. So just remember that payroll register shows all employees. Number 2, how is net pay calculated? By subtracting our total deductions from our total earnings of that pay period. Number 3, why do companies complete employee earnings records? Because a business must send quarterly and annual reports to the federal and state governments showing employee taxable earnings and taxes that are withheld from the employee earnings. So these are reports that we will need to send in. That was the end of 12.3. You can now go to the 12.3 work together.